Morning, Anne.
Good morning, Trevor.
It's an exciting day. The sun's shining for a start, and tomorrow we've got the elections. Now, what's that mean to you? Anything?
Not a lot, if
Not
I'm
a
honest.
lot. I thought we'd spend a couple of minutes just describing what our political system is. We have parish councils. So there's a parish council for Trimley, St Martin, another one for St Mary, and Felixstowe Town Council is effectively a parish council.
Right.
It's got very little more power than that. But it's got a town hall and it had loads of people. It used to be, before 1974, a little bit more powerful. Now, all of that power has been transferred to the next level, which is Suffolk Coastal District Council. And there are, at the moment, I think 55 councillors that cover the area from Felixstowe right up to nearly to Southwold, past Aldborough, and inland past Framlingham. So they're all split up into parishes, and so each parish elects a councillor, or more than one councillor, depending on its size, for Suffolk Coastal District Council. Now, they are about to change. They're asking the Boundaries Commission to reduce the number of councillors. Now, there's a lot of implications in all that. We're not quite sure whether they're doing it because they're going to push out those areas where there's competition.
Right, yeah.
Or merge them in with a stronger... So there's going to be a bit of shenanigans, I think, go on, but we have got until June or July to go to the Boundaries Commission and state our case, if that's what we want to do.
Right.
Now, the Suffolk Coastal District Council is responsible for a whole range of things, but we'll not talk about those this morning. Let's move up another level to Suffolk County Council.
Okay.
And there we have, in this town, 2 councillors for Felixstowe Coastal, and 1 councillor for what is known as Felixstowe North and the Trimleys, which includes Walton.
Okay, that's me.
Now, as Walton was the oldest town in the area, it's a pity they're not included as part of the name. So these are called divisions. We've got 2 councillors to be elected for our division in Felixstowe Coastal, and 1 for Felixstowe North and the Trimleys. Now, what do? Getting a bit complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it is getting complicated.
Traditionally they did education was their big thing. They looked after the police service, they looked after the fire brigade, they looked after social welfare of various sorts, our care homes and various things, and also the highways. Now, over the last few years, there's been an erosion of their responsibilities. They don't do the A14 and the A12 as highway maintenance anymore. That's the Highways Agency, a quango that's out there somewhere that does it all. Spent £70 million on those big signs, you see, on the A14, saying it's 68 miles to Cambridge.
Well, most people, I think, now have a sat nav. I think, doesn't that tell you?
Well, I wonder what else they do apart from tell us. Are they secretly filming us and knowing where we are? You don't know, do you?
No.
Anyway, Highways Agency, education here in Felixstowe. Effectively, the education department's left us as far as secondary education is concerned, because we had 2 secondary schools, a former grammar school, Deben, and the former comprehensive, going back a long way, Orwell High. They are now run by the Felixstowe Academy.
Yeah.
The Felixstowe Academy is part of a group of that was originally based in South Essex, when I looked, I don't know whether it's changed or not, but they had one teacher on their board of governors. They didn't seem to have a great deal of direct hands-on experience, but very quickly they managed to get hold of the control of several schools in Essex, and now they're moving into Suffolk, and I think Felixstowe was the first of the academies. Now they're going to spend £18 million there, well, the government is, building us a new school.
Right.
The chances are, of course, they'll then have 2 buildings left over, which they might be able to make £18 million by converting into flats. So we don't know about that yet, do we?
No.
So, but it's an investment, and it was recently judged by Ofsted as in need of a bit of care and attention. It's not doing as well as it should do. That may just be teething problems, or it may not. We'll have to see. Deben always rated well. Orwell High, not quite as well, but they were 2 separate places. We don't have a choice anymore.
No.
We have the academy, or you can have the academy.
Academy. I've got boys at the academy.
Yeah.
No choice.
They're enjoying life. And social welfare. And they did a lot of other things, and it's too long a list, really, of things that the council did and do. I don't think they've got any care homes at all now in Suffolk. They're all in private.
They're all private.
They're all in private hands. Some weaknesses in that, of course, because we have seen in recent years privately owned care homes going bust. So you've got some very frail and elderly and vulnerable people in these homes. In the future, we don't really know who's going to pick up the baton and look after them.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's going to be a trauma to be shifted around. And there was always some comfort in going into a council home, and you could more or less say, well, I'm here for the duration, aren't I?
Yeah, but you can't now.
No. You know, Joe Bloggs Limited may well say, oh no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And we have got plans here in Felixstowe for a 9-storey.
This is what was at the council Tuesday night?
Yeah, sheltered,
right.
Well, not sheltered accommodation.
No.
Retirement homes.
Yeah.
Big national company building in between this, what's it called? What is it called? The big block of flats.
It's Harvest House.
Harvest House at the one side, and the other side was
is it Cliff House?
Cliff House.
Yeah.
Both former hotels, both part of the resort town that was Felixstowe.
Yeah. When
the Empress of Germany came to stay, and that was the place to be. And you could get a special train from Liverpool Street on a Friday night, come down to what is now Harvest House, have a weekend of dancing and play go around the gardens and all the rest of it, and go back. And I think it cost you 4 guineas or something.
Wow.
It's really good. But unfortunately, that seems to have gone by the way. So if we go to the people that are standing now, one of the first people we interviewed was John Goodwin, who is the present councillor for Felixstowe North and Trimley.
That's this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said, and it was a great surprise to me, that he was now chairman of a £44 million a year turnover company called, I think, Eastern Property Management Services Limited.
Right.
I've since discovered that I think the council own that company.
Oh, right, okay.
But the worry I have is they have taken over a lot of the services, as John explained. They are now doing all the things that the council once used to do.
Right.
More or less.
Okay.
But how are they going to be accountable? Their meetings are going to be held in private. Their minutes are going to be confidential. And so you, me, who pay,
We can't know. What's
we won't
happening.
necessarily know. I think we need that some sort of clearance. The libraries now have been handed over to a mutual providence society, and John Goodwin again said that we'd saved £3 million.
Okay.
But the £3 million hasn't been given to the Provident Mutual Society to improve the libraries.
Right. Right. So they're just at a standstill.
They're at a standstill. They've got no extra finance. And so where is that £3 million?
Yeah.
So stay with Felixstowe North. Against John Goodwin, we've got a Liberal Democrat and a Labour member. Now, David Rowe, who is the Labour candidate, has stood and was deputy leader of Suffolk County Council for a brief time, in 4 years, I think, in the 1990s, when the Conservative Party went into the doldrums and the Labour and Liberal Party had a coalition here for a term of office, and they ran the council. The first time in 104 years, basically since the creation of the council system, really, that the Conservatives had not been in power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we do have something of a monopoly.
Yeah.
The Liberal Democrat is Mike Ninmey, who once was a councillor for Suffolk Coastal District Council. I think he lost his seat at the last election, but he's been heavily involved in various things, particularly the Bartlett convalescent home debacle, and he's always been interested in health. Now, we talk about health. The public health is now been moved. I don't know which way it's gone. Either gone to the councils or it's gone to the NHS, one or the other. Wrong to say, but they're moving things about.
Yeah, we did a show here yesterday, actually, with Mike.
Good.
And he was trying to show us on the board where all the health services are going.
Right.
And it was really, really confusing. We're actually going to put some documents up later today.
Good.
To try and help people to understand, but it's not easy.
I'm glad, because I'm as confused as
he was trying to help us out, but it was hard.
But we can say with a certain amount of certainty now that Felixstowe no longer has any National Health Service.
Right.
And I have a horrible tale of Serco run the hospital in Felixstowe now. They've taken it over recently. And I have a horrible tale about that. A friend of mine who's a carer for her husband who's got Alzheimer's went there with a bad knee and said, I've got a bad knee. It's a problem. Well, how did you do it? She was asked. Well, I don't really know. It's just suddenly I can't walk on it. Well, if it's not an injury, we can't deal with it. You'll have to go to your GP.
Oh.
And that, I know, because I've been involved in contracting for much of my life, that is what will happen with privatised industries, because they will look at their contract
and only follow it to the letter. Yeah.
That's why we had in hospitals the cleaners not cleaning above shoulder height, because that was health and safety. Well, what about the dirt above that?
Yeah.
So there's lots of instances where unless the contract is written very well, there's going to be problems. And we're going to lose out, I think, on our services. So that to be aware. If we come to Felixstowe Coastal,
right,
we've got 6 people applying to take over the rank of councillor, or 2 councillors. The 2 at the moment are Nick Barber and Graham Newman. They represent the Conservative Party. They've been there. Well, I think Nick was elected last time. Graham Newman has been there at least 8 years on 2
So we have to have two again.
You have to have two again.
Right.
And you've got your vote tomorrow. And when you vote, if you're living in Felixstowe, you get 2 votes.
Ah.
Double your money.
And do you have to vote like for the same party, or can you just vote?
No.
Vote whatever you want.
Each person is considered
on their own.
On their own merits.
Okay.
So you could go for one Labour and one Conservative, or one Liberal and
it doesn't
whatever.
matter.
It's up to you. You get in that little box and you put your X in the right place, and there
is
isn't.
anything going to change if I bother going?
Well, there's another alternative. You could always spoil the vote by saying none of the above, which is a growing way people are suggesting, because we're dissatisfied with the democratic process we have here. In a sense, that's one way people are saying. Now, I don't know whether that's the right way.
If you don't know who to vote for and you don't think it's worth it, it's always worth going and doing that.
I think the point is that you are voting. You are registering the fact that you've been.
Okay.
And I think that's important. Whatever you vote, you should go. Okay. It's important to do so. Graham Newman was the man responsible for education under the previous administration, and obviously was therefore responsible for the Felixstowe Academy. And you may know there was quite a battle at that time, because there was a local group supported by the co-op who had 200 schools elsewhere in the country to run the academy, run the new school themselves.
Right.
But Graham rejected that, and it became the Felixstowe Academy.
Okay.
Just whilst we're talking about, I'll go through the rest of Felixstowe Coastal. We've got 2 Liberal Democrats.
Okay.
Cherry McGregor.
Yeah.
She was, like David Rowe, in that government, that
I see.
coalition government in the 90s, and she represented the Liberal Democrats then. So she's had 4 years, I think, experience in the council. And Seamus Bennett is the son of a very well-known local doctor who was here for years.
He's the man that does the swimming, isn't he? Because we had him in to talk about his swimming.
And he does a lot of swimming. And he's involved, I think he's now thinking about becoming a teacher, so he's now at the academy as a teaching assistant. But he's doing that because he's been involved in social welfare of all sorts, all of his working life.
Okay.
So I mean, Cherry is an artist, I suppose, and very outspoken.
Is she?
She has views. Actually, my little interviews were picked up by a local discussion group forum, and they said that my interviewing technique was robust.
Oh.
Don't quite know what they mean by that.
Oh dear.
No,
everyone you've interviewed
there was
no
other criticism.
Everyone seemed happy as they left. So.
Yeah, they're politicians. They've got to be.
Of course, yeah.
Really, I'd put I'd tie them down and put through screws on their thumbs, to try and get the truth out of them, wouldn't you?
Of course.
If you had half a chance.
Yeah.
Anyway, we end up with our selection of candidates. We've got 2 Labour candidates standing in Felixstowe Coastal.
Okay.
Both female, both women. Hattie Bennett, and she runs Felixstowe Music. They run the concerts in St Andrew's Church.
Okay.
She, that's one. And do you know, the last one has slipped my mind. Sheila, is it? Shelley? No. There is another lovely lady who, because we invited all of the councillors to come in, 4 of them didn't. The 2 Labour and the 2 Conservative for Felixstowe Coastal. Now you could argue, because the track records, that the Conservatives are arrogant and don't care. They're going to get in, they say, to themselves. And the Labour Party think, well, I'm not going to waste my time talking to TP because I haven't got any chance. That's a horrible thing to say. And but you don't know. I don't know. I'm disappointed that Graham Newman, well, any of them, didn't come in the studio and give people the chance, because the little recordings I've made, I've known a lot of people have seen and looked at on YouTube and elsewhere. And one person certainly on the forum said, it's made my mind up for me. Listening to the candidates.
That's good that we've helped.
Yeah. Well, one person.
Yeah, we've helped one person. Well, we're now today helping me.
Yeah, well, what? Anything?
I haven't got a clue.
You haven't got a clue. What else can we talk about?
Well, really, it makes me wonder, if I bother to go and vote, can any of these people actually, I know they want to, and each one of them individually, obviously, whatever they feel they want to change, they feel they're doing that for our good, else they wouldn't bother doing what they do. But are they capable of changing anything?
I have problems. I worry about that company, that private company that's taken over £44 million worth of Suffolk County Council's work.
Right.
Because how is anybody going to be able to influence what they say, what they do? That's one thing. I haven't heard of any mechanism that's been put in place to do that. It's just, right, we'll do it.
Okay.
And
because council tax is, well, it's hard work for families. I know that from.
Well, the only people that have talked about council tax have been the Conservatives, and they say it's not going to change in the next 4 years. Well, to some extent, that may sound like a great idea, but if that means that we're going to lose out on services that we've become used to, is that where we should be going? I mean, it's our quality of life, isn't it? As we slip from a first world country into third world status, it seems.
Yeah.
Sure.
Are any of the councillors that are standing looking to update Felixstowe from a younger person's point of view with a young family? My family seem to be, as each of my kids grow older, planning to be gone because there's just nothing here. Is any of them planning to update Felixstowe? I
don't think any of them, particularly for Suffolk County Council, have got much in the way of influence or power to do so.
Right.
One of the big problems for Felixstowe, when it goes back to 1974 in a sense, when we became part of Suffolk Coastal District Council, we're out on a limb. You've got to come through Ipswich to get to get to Woodbridge and Framlingham and Aldeburgh and all this of it, known as the wonders of the Suffolk coast.
Right.
I mean, the area of outstanding natural beauty starts up in the top end of the county and near towards Lowestoft, comes down to the River Deben, stops and starts again on the other side of the River Orwell, our bit.
Oh, right.
And yet, William Cobbett, when he came, he did a country tour. He went around the whole of England in 1820, I think, something like that. He marked out the land around Felixstowe as being some of the finest that he'd seen in the country.
Gosh.
And yet it's never been recognised as being.
No.
What we're thinking about is building more houses on it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So the economy is important. We probably spend too much of our time and effort on the port and not enough time on the resort. The resort seems to have been sidelined.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And it needs investment. They're investing money in the seafront gardens. I haven't seen any plans that make sense to me, but
is the pier still going ahead? I heard it.
I've heard again. I don't know. I've heard rumours. That's all I can say. We're getting a new hotel very shortly. The Fletchers.
Yes, that looks lovely. That looks really good.
Very good.
Really good.
I don't think the other end of town, the Bloor Homes development, is going to bring much to the town.
No.
Be holiday homes if they can sell them at all.
Well, they're very expensive.
And I want to know how much money we're going to get, having got rid of 17 acres of prime coastal land. You imagine how much that really is worth.
A lot of money.
So I don't see how much money we're getting out of it. And if you go, the Cavendish Hotel that space has been empty for 40 years now, something like that.
Yeah.
The amusement area is looking tacky, to say the least. The North Star Hotel has been empty for a long, long while and could be developed. When they knocked down the convalescent home on Convalescent Hill, they turned it into a temporary car park, but there was going to be a hotel.
Oh, right.
That's never happened. We sold, or Suffolk Coastal District Council sold the town hall back to Felixstowe Town Council.
Right.
So the town council's now got a big mortgage to pay to buy something that they already owned before they go. So, and the Bartlett's gone. The Spa Pavilion is teetering on the edge.
Yeah.
The promenade looks great, and going around Cobbled's Point looks great.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and I had my doubt, and I had suspicions, they didn't join it up with the rest of the promenade. If they had done, we would have had probably the longest promenade in the country, and that allowed disabled access.
Yeah.
And it would have been fantastic. You know, everybody could have walked on a level
That would have been nice.
right down from the port to the ferry. We seem to have lost that.
The only problem I have with the promenade is when you're walking along, especially if you've got someone in a wheelchair, they can only see the back of the beach huts.
Well, I think you're quite right. We had, where Blore Homes had put these tacky little houses, as the song goes.
No. You don't like them there.
They're
They're beautiful inside. I have been round.
I
could never afford one.
I saw a film of them all, but you say beautiful inside, but can you actually swing a cat in them?
Oh no, they are small.
When
all new houses.
When they say bedroom, they mean a room to put a bed in.
A bed, yeah, they do.
I'm not impressed. We had, I think, 600 beach huts on that land at one point. Beach Station Road was thriving before you came up, but it was thriving. Beach Station, which was pulled down one bank holiday, that's a lovely long story, but they pulled it down. That once, I think their record was 35,000 people came through that station in one day to go to the beach.
Gosh, that's a lot of people.
I know a lot of people come by car now, and they probably wouldn't come, but I mean, it just shows the
How
number of
were
people
coming.
that did think that Felixstowe was worth coming to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Would they say the same today? I think we need a theatre. I was with a group back in 2006 when the contract came up for renewal. We applied to take over the Spa Pavilion. I raised some cash on paper. We were going to split the theatre in half, have a 300-seat or so theatre. We're going to put a fly tower in so that you could take scenery up. One of the problems with the Spa Pavilion is you can't get...
Eric was talking about that.
So, going to put that in, and then have the back of the theatre was going to be a conference centre, a dance studio, a place to do this. So you had at least 3 areas, and then of course the restaurant is the finest location on the East Coast. So we believed it would go, but the council said, well, you as a group, and that included, we had everybody, all in from the town, theatre technicians, studio, film and television people, all sorts of experts and business people, lawyers, accountants, all in my little package. They said, no, you don't have any financial experience. But we didn't as a group. But
individually.
I built Lakeside Shopping Centre, for instance, and I've been handling money in the millions for a long while. So just one person, one example. That was all a bit
shame.
They gave it to an international company, paid them. They told us you're going to get no money whatsoever, but they actually paid them I think it was 217,000, went up to 250,000 a year.
Right.
To put on one show a week. I mean, how can we be satisfied with that?
Yeah.
A lookalike band. You'd put a lookalike band on for 250 grand a year,
I would,
wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I would.
So, I don't know. I think you've got to get out there and do it. I think it's the only piece of democracy we have.
Yeah.
And if you read some of the statements, they're fairly bland, aren't they? I mean, they don't really tell us very much. They're going to bring back a travel card,
right?
But they're going to charge for it still. They used to.
Because we used to have. Well, my children used to have the. Dan would tell us Explorer card. I think Explorer card. Yeah. And that was a great help.
Yeah.
But that then went. And I at one time had 4 children going to Ipswich College, which was hard work. A lot of fares.
And there's going to be no cold calling zones throughout the county. Well, I don't know how the council
will be able to actually
monitor that, police it. Education. Well, we'll wait and see what's happening.
I think more academies are going to, because obviously we've got Langler Academy as well now.
It seems like they're slowly going to give away everything. And one of the problems that I see, and I might be wrong, a private company quite rightly wants to make a profit, and to some extent there's no problem with that, and they will always tell you they owe their first duty to their shareholders, to the people that are going to get paid the profit. What a lot of people are saying is, well, that's all very well, but actually what we should do is change the law so that the workers were involved. I mean, after all, one of our most successful group of companies is Waitrose and John Lewis's.
Right,
where the ownership is with the workers.
Yeah, the workers.
And to the environment, to the local community, that the people they're serving should also be involved in whatever the company's doing. I get frightened by statistics, although I'm allegedly a statistician. We find in America now that 1% of the population owns 70% of the wealth.
Gosh.
The so-called middle class think they're doing very well, but they don't hold a patch to the people who really got the money.
Yeah.
And we've got to be aware of that. We are selling ourselves short. Too much money is spent supporting large businesses, when in fact in Suffolk, I think something like 85% of the workers in Suffolk work for companies with less than 4 people. Okay. We are a small business county. And I'm going, as I leave here, to Trinity Park, which is Suffolk showground.
Where the Suffolk show is held.
To the ISPA, the Ipswich and Suffolk Business Exhibition.
Oh, right.
All small businesses. Ipswich and Suffolk Small Business Association, ISPA.
Right.
So I don't know why Ipswich is different from Suffolk, but that's history, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's a bunch of small businesses who we should be supporting.
Yeah.
We've got talk of all the supermarkets, 3 of them fighting to come to the top.
Yeah, we're quite popular.
But what happens to the Bootable bakery, the butcher, the greengrocers, the fishmongers that we've got here now, and the hardware stores and all the other little shops where people have done very well, thank you, serving the community, thank you very much, for a long while. They're going to be destroyed.
Why do you think there's so many empty shops now in Felixstowe and
well, the rates
shops.
The rates and the rents are horrendous.
Right.
You know, they're far too much.
So would it not be better to lower them just to get people in?
Well, that's one of the problems that well, they say the property owners have engineered it so that rent reviews must always go up. You can't drop them. So if you've got, it was 10,000 a year in times of plenty, it can only go to 11. It can't go down to 8
down because people are. Because I would have thought it would be better to have people in them.
Yeah.
Because at least you're getting something in for the property, and the town looks better.
And the other thing we forget is that the rates, the business rates that are collected by the council, go straight to the government. Council doesn't get that money. They get it back, perhaps, if you like, in a very roundabout way, but they don't get it.
So could we not lower them?
We could lower them, I would think. I wonder sometimes what you get for it, to be honest, because you pay business rates, they immediately say, well, we don't collect your rubbish. We don't do this, we don't do that. We've got to pay for this, pay for that. And you think, well, what am I paying for? I'm just being taxed.
Yeah. Because we have an awful lot of coffee shops and an awful lot of charity shops.
Yeah.
We don't have an awful lot of anything.
I'd have loved to have seen, we spent, I don't know, was it £2 million doing Hamilton Road?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have loved to have seen us making a canopy over the existing road. Forget the pavement, which is only chewing gum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Covering that and making it a pedestrian only. After all, if Ipswich can have a pedestrian area that's about 4 times as long as our bit, people can walk. They don't have to have cars down there.
No.
And I personally would remove all the yellow lines.
Yeah.
So that traffic found it impossible to move around the streets because we do too much for the car.
Yeah. You put them in certain places, car parks on the edge.
Car parks,
yeah.
And you know, really, councils.
I find the pedestrianised bit a little bit difficult, being as cars still can actually go down there. Because I've got a small child. She seems to think that's one big pavement because that's how it looks. We teach her this is pavement, this is, but obviously it's all one. So she tends to run off, and then you've got cars coming down.
I shouted
so
at
it is a little bit confusing. Yeah, some of them come down pretty quick.
I do. I was there Sunday morning. I took a recorded on Sunday morning and just recorded my. Funnily, it was lovely, really, because there was a big fat guy in a Bentley trying to get money out of Barclays Bank, and a policeman was there.
Right.
And he just told him off and said, "No, you're causing an obstruction."
Good.
Because that was a Doreen Rayner, a Savage complaint, wasn't it, that people were parking outside Barclays Bank and causing obstruction. So there's the policeman doing it.
Yeah, good.
The fat Bentley owner.
Right, yes.
Not the fat controller. Argued.
Gosh.
I'd have nipped him, but there you go.
I wouldn't like to do the police's job, to be honest.
No,
quite a lot of abuse.
There's no support, is there?
No, there isn't any support for them.
Anyway, I walked back up into the one-way system, the shared space system, and a car came. People walking. It was Sunday. There was a car weaving its way through all this traffic, going quite fast, but going from side to side. You didn't know. It wasn't going in a straight line. I can see a space. I'll go for it.
Yeah.
So I shouted at him.
Did you? You're brave.
No. But I don't see it works. But because the council have said, oh, well, there's far fewer accidents down there now.
Oh, is there?
Apparently so.
I don't know.
I witnessed one at the top of Bent Hill shortly after it opened. An elderly lady stepped off the steps. She didn't realise it was a step.
Oh,
fell over and broke her arm.
Bless her.
And the shops there were telling me at the time there'd been a whole number of accidents because of that. They put a rail up, I think, now.
Have they? Good, good.
So that's something. But I don't know. I think it looks tacky, doesn't it? It's horrible. Dirty. Why choose grey?
Someone's feeling still up. Well, to round up, because we have been nattering.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have.
No, it has helped me.
Has it?
Yeah, it has
You've
helped me.
made a decision now.
I don't know if I've made a decision,
Come on.
but I could still talk to Trevor after.
No.
He thinks he's going to the business show.
Yeah.
And I hope it has helped anybody. Obviously, you make your own mind up. And it has made me realise that if I still don't know who to vote for, I certainly will be going and putting my mark. So,
I think what we've all got to start to do is to get more involved with this. There's too many things going on that we don't know about.
Definitely.
And I moan and groan that both Felixstowe Radio and Felixstowe TV get no support whatsoever from the local councils. Nothing.
Thank you.
No money, nothing. Or support. As we've seen, councillors can't even be bothered to come in to talk to you. It's a
Well, we try. We are here for the community.
Yes, indeed.
So, you know, businesses, etc., that need help.
So are our councillors there for us? Are they here for the council, for the community?
So. I have had some good experience, not naming people, but I have had some good experience
I'm
with
pleased
some of the
to hear
councillors. So, which come as a shock actually to me. So, they are out there, but thank you anyway.
Okay.
Thank you, and I hope it's helped. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.